Man, shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation.
DBN Nation, of course. Support DBN Nation. You're hearing it from Floyd Money Mayweather.
It's Terence Crawford, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
This is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation, baby.
Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Woo! Hey.
Would you like to fight him?
Man, for what?
Man, guys, this is, come on, man. I will fight any of these guys. I will fight any of these guys. Fighting Errol Spence will be a payday?
Might not be bad. He's an up-and-coming star.
You'd probably give him the payday.
It would be a payday for me to fight Errol Spence?
Errol Spence now he's going to fight for a title for his next fight. He's mandatory, so.
That don't mean nothing.
If you know, you know. And we all know one thing is that Timothy Bradley always claimed he's willing to fight everyone before he retired. However, history tells us something else. So let's get to it. Now, Timothy Bradley came out stating, and I quote, "Errol Spence is absolutely ducking Terence Crawford." Now, I find that funny because, as y'all heard in the clip, Timothy Bradley admitted he was avoiding Errol Spence himself. However, now he claiming that he was this guy who was willing to fight everyone. And there's no such thing as across the street. Even though Terence Crawford himself came out and stated that Errol Spence is not ducking him. But let Timothy Bradley tell it, Errol Spence is ducking him. Now, like I said, I find it funny coming from a guy who ducked Errol Spence. See, if Timothy Bradley never ducked Errol Spence and now he's stating these things, and he was willing to go to the PBC at the time to fight those guys at the welterweight division, like Keith Thurman's, like the likes of Danny Garcia's, etc., because Keith Thurman was heavily calling him out. Amir Khan was heavily calling Timothy Bradley out. And what Timothy Bradley do? Avoided those fights, just like he avoided the Errol Spence fight when the WBC, I believe, or the WBA mandated Errol Spence to fight Timothy Bradley. And what Timothy Bradley do? He retired because he didn't want that Texas smoke. And Timothy Bradley has the audacity to say that Errol Spence is ducking Terence Crawford because he's not calling out Terence Crawford the way Terence Crawford is calling out Errol Spence. And the reason why, since Timothy Bradley want to play clueless and act like he don't know what's going on, Errol Spence got big fights to make under his stable. A Pacquiao fight, a Keith Thurman fight, a Danny Garcia fight. He's fighting Sean Porter next, right? Meanwhile, on the other hand, who is Terence Crawford fighting next, or who is there to fight for Terence Crawford from the top-ranked stable? Absolutely no one. So why is he still signed to Top Rank and ESPN if his contract is about to be up? He should run to the PBC and get signed to the PBC because, like I said time and time again, yes, the PBC did lowball Terence Crawford for not posting his pick during the Pacquiao fight as a champion. You know, you got to give the champion the respect due. However, it ain't like ESPN is doing him justice either. They put Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao as better welterweights than a Terence Crawford, even though we all know Terence Crawford was heavy calling out Manny Pacquiao. I didn't see Timothy Bradley call out Manny Pacquiao for ducking Terence Crawford at the time. But when it comes to a fighter with the same color as his own, then he's going to go all out. And that's the disappointing thing with Timothy Bradley. Keep the same energy with everybody if you're going to do that, right? And more importantly, check your facts, because he claiming Errol Spence is avoiding Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford is calling Errol Spence out. And Errol Spence stays mentioning Terence Crawford. It ain't like a Canelo situation where you never hear Canelo mention Jamal Charlo or Andre or talks about them or talks about fighting them. Errol Spence, even during the Sean Porter press conference, he stated time and time again, I ain't moving up from this division till I fight Terence Crawford. And I will become the undisputed welterweight champion. Did you hear that, Timothy Bradley? If not, then do your homework before you talk about a fighter ducking another fighter. Just because Terence Crawford called him out on the zone doesn't mean ERROL Spence is avoiding him. And just because Bob Arum is claiming that he want to make the fight doesn't mean it's true. Why are we supposed to believe Bob Arum? Bob Arum is the reason why we didn't see Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury rematch right away. That fight was about to happen. Then he stole Tyson Fury from fighting Deontay Wilder right away. And he told Tyson Fury, oh, this fight's supposed to be even bigger than the Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. Oh, I could get it to be that. And he gave him 2 bum fights and now claiming that the fight will be bigger. Ain't that a joke, right? Now, this is the same guy that stopped Fury versus Wilder 2 from happening. This is the same guy who made the Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather wait 5 years. It was Bob Arum. He wanted to milk Pacquiao because he knew as soon as Pacquiao loses to Floyd, fans will lose interest in Pacquiao. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to milk Pacquiao to the end, and then I'm going to feed him to Floyd Mayweather and make the big money fight, right? Funny enough, I was telling people that. Freddie Roach even told people that on an interview. You know, he co-signs what I'm saying. He co-signs what Dante be saying. And let the fans tell it. Oh, Bob Arum now, he changed. For what? What's the change? It's the same OBS. He said that Terence Crawford versus ERROL Spence is a 50-50 fight, which we all know that's absolutely not true. They both draw 2 different type of numbers. ERROL Spence, first time being on pay-per-view, outdoing Terence Crawford being twice on pay-per-view. If you combine them numbers together, ERROL Spence, first time on pay-per-view, outdid both. Twice as much to make matter worse. So how is the fight a 50-50 fight when ERROL Spence, by the time he fight Terence Crawford, the pace ERROL Spence is going, he probably fight Sean Porter, maybe a Manny Pacquiao fight. And then he's possibly a megastar. By then, if he gets the Keith Thurman fights, the Danny Garcias, the Manny Pacquiao fight, right? And he finna have like what? 3 different belts? So I see what Bob Arum likes to do. He likes to have one of the main factors in a division and takes that fighter and give him hella money. Don't get me wrong, right? Just to fight tomato cans, or for Terence Crawford case, Terence Crawford actually fighting good fighters. They just not known. However, for Tyson Fury, on the other hand, man, he fighting tomato cans to the T. After Tyson Fury had a draw with Deontay Wilder where he claimed he won the fight, he fought someone that's ranked number 63. Now he's about to fight somebody that's ranked number 48. However, Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he fighting top level notch fighters. So it's different for Terence. It's just the fact that Terence ain't fighting name fighters. And that's what's hurting him. And like I said, since that's the case, head to the PBC, because even Timothy Bradley, right? And I must say Timothy Bradley, because every time Lomachenko fights, Timothy Bradley claims that Lomachenko's number 1, or he used to. Even though Terence Crawford is supposed to be his guy. Terence Crawford is actually the real number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the game. Lomachenko, at the time when he was fighting Walter and his first time moving up to 135-pound division, Timothy Bradley was so quick to say that Lomachenko is the pound-for-pound number 1. Even though, like I stated, Terence Crawford was the number 1 pound-for-pound and still is till this day. However, Timothy Bradley, through his own, just for the sake of complimenting Lomachenko and feeding to what Bob Arum and ESPN wanted him to do. And that's the problem I got with Timothy Bradley. And if you all want to talk about ducking, let's talk about ducking. When Amir Khan, and I know a lot of people hate Amir Khan, but when Amir Khan was actually considered the best at 140, him and Timothy Bradley just beat Alexander, unified the division. I believe Amir Khan had 2 belts as well. He just beat Maidana, where he got hurt and showed heart and actually survived the fight and won the fight, right? Amir Khan was heavily calling out Timothy Bradley. And what did Timothy Bradley do? Talk shit, but duck Amir Khan. And it still haunts him to this day. That's why he wants that fight, and he will come out of retirement for that fight because he knew he ducked Amir Khan for no reason. Or for a reason, because he didn't want that work back in when Amir Khan was in his prime. And then Bradley was getting called by Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, ERROL Spence, and he avoided all these PBC fighters. But he claims that there is no such thing as across the street. Well, Timothy Bradley, I got good news for you. You didn't even want to go across the street. It was too smoke in that street. You were like, you know what? I'm going to stay in my little hometown. I'm not going to go across town where there's a lot of smoke, where people shooting. I don't even got a gun. You know, I got a knife. I don't got no gun. I don't want that smoke. So Timothy Bradley is the last person that need to call ERROL Spence out on something, especially when it's false. I don't see you calling out Tyson Fury for ducking Deontay Wilder. I don't see you asking Tyson Fury why you ran all the way to ESPN. However, he does the opposite thing, questioning Deontay Wilder instead. How ironic. Now, I'll leave it at that. And y'all know my motto. Anybody that say anything silly, gonna get this work when I come over here. So subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter about the minute. If you're trying to get dumb about a second, don't listen to these casual fans. And follow Lantoon Boxing for the funniest boxing memes. Follow me at Aki TV on YouTube and Instagram in the description box below. And to be continued on the next episode of Aki TV. Peace, and we out.